1,000 days. 1,000 days ago today, the Anzac spirit showed in this town. The convoy to Canberra arrived on the 31st of January 2022. People standing up for what they knew was wrong, against the people doing the wrong to us. It was an amazing time. It was very emotional. I'm so proud of the people that turned up. But what happened to that spirit? Where has that spirit gone? The same things are happening. It's just gotten worse. Division, control. I mean, we saw the control issues on that day. It was already taken over by bad influences. But where have the people gone? Where'd the spirit go?
Yeah, brother.
Why have they crawled under rocks, hiding? Without standing up for what is right, without standing up against the wrongs, nothing will ever change. And it takes every single one of us to do the right thing. We all know good from bad. Would you allow a perpetrator to come to your house and do something to your children? For someone to come and poison you? To take your rights away? As individuals, we'll stand up to protect ourselves and our families. This is happening every day around the whole world.
That's the truth.
What happened to the integrity in this country? Samantha Mostyn. You are our belligerent Governor-General for the fake corporation that should be here for the Commonwealth of Australia, for the people. You are the one that stamps it off, brings in the legislation, takes away our rights to bring us to a dystopian future that we all saw in the movie and the book, 1984. It's all happening. What we've been talking about for the last 4 years. All the right scientific evidence, it's on the table.
It's the truth.
Whatever country you're looking at, whatever doctor you're listening to, all the stuff's coming out. You want us all to forget about what you've done. It's just getting worse and worse. I, for one, just like my friends around me, aren't willing to live in the world you want to produce for us, where there's no freedom, no rights for our children, living in some dodgy virtue reality. We can't even get into nature and enjoy it. You've sold us out for so long. People are still at home trying to keep what they've got. If we don't go forward, you've lost it all anyway. So there's a lot of things that rest on your shoulders, Samantha. Your parents would be ashamed. Maybe not. Maybe they're part of the control problem as well. Probably all part of the eugenics program. All come from the right bloodlines. But we won't stand for it anymore. The people of this country should be standing again. Maybe a memory of what happened 1,000 days ago will remind them that we have the power.
Yeah.
We are the ones that can make change.
That's right.
The government isn't supposed to be a controlling feature. It's supposed to help the country.
Yeah. Good government.
Anyway, we'll be here every day until something changes, or the people come and make the change. Thank you.
What are you doing about it? I know.
Governor General Samantha Mostyn and the rest of the government, not a government but a corporatisation. You're the corporates destroying our great country, Australia, a land I am so proud of, a land of so much beauty and so much to see. Your corporate entity has no jurisdiction on this country. Do you realise that? To the people, we are the ones allowing these criminals to get away with it. Our complicitness, our silence, it's destroying our country. Yes, this so-called government is playing its part, but we the people are also playing our part by allowing them to get away with it, allowing tyranny into this country, heartache, and so many more issues. We remember the ones that went to war, but I think we forgot what they fought for. They fought for our freedoms against what is happening right now. This corporate body has no place on this land. This corporate body has no place on this world. Samantha Mostyn, pack your bags and get out of the building. You're not doing your job.
Here, here.
What are you doing about it?
Did you want to say something, Anita, before he does anything?
Paul's going to say
Paul's
something.
got something to say.
Hold the horses there, Paul.
Hang on, go on, go on. Why? Yeah.
Paul, hang on.
Wait. Oh, you are. I thought he was going to push play.
G'day, my fellow Aussies. 1,000 days I didn't even realise, so I came here simply by the will of God because I didn't even know it was the 1,000-day mark. And my wife and I and her eldest daughter and granddaughter were here. Actually, my wife and I, her daughter and granddaughter didn't show up until a bit later, but my wife and I were here on the 31st of January 2021, and we stood with the people at Stand in the Park down on the Black Mountain Peninsula, and they were organising, we found they were organising at that point for the convoy to Canberra to roll in the next day on the Monday. So that's how we became involved in this. We didn't deliberately come here and set up to be involved in this, but when we found out what was going on and we came on the Monday, we helped them set up the stage to receive the people that were coming in from the convoy and all the rest of it and the things that proceeded from that. So I remember those days, man. Those days are still very vivid, and I actually take the time to think back of 1,000 days ago and everything that's transpired since. I'm heartbroken that this is all that's here, right? This is all that's here. Mate, I met so many Aussies that I didn't even believe existed in this country anymore, mate. Yous all came out of the woodwork. I couldn't believe it. I was so happy on that day and the days that followed when more and more people just kept streaming into this place to stand up against the government, to stand up against what we had proved in our own hearts and by research and by documentation was actually an agenda that was detrimental to the people of the Commonwealth of Australia. Not just detrimental, but it turned out to be deadly. Right? This government was directly involved in a program that started killing Australians, and they're still dying to this day. right? That's the sad part of it. The happy part of it for me was to meet so many Aussies again, right? Real Aussies, the way I remember them. I'm 50 odd, right? So I remember back in the 80s when Australia was a great nation, even internationally, right? We had a reputation. Our people had a reputation, right? We were tough people, right? We spoke it as it was. We were tough people. We were good soldiers. We were good athletes, right? And every nation loved us at one point. Now Australia is somewhere way down on the list of desirable countries to live in.
What are you doing about it?
What happened? And where are you people who came and stood with us? Mate, I was so happy to meet you all. I talked to so many people, mate. I came right out of my shell because everyone was here with the same heart, the same spirit, right? The grace of God was upon us, whether you believe in God or not, but I can't explain it either way. You had a window of opportunity. And we came together not in a spirit of violence and hatred, because that's our enemy. That's how they think. That's how they work. That's their philosophy, right? We came here in a spirit of love and unity. And we didn't take to violence. We tried to protest peacefully. And we have remained peaceful ever since, even though we've watched people hurt, injured, and destroyed by this system, right? By the corporate enforcers that call themselves the police, right? By the medical interventions that were forced upon the people of this land, coerced into it, manipulated into it, lied to, both by the government and the social media. All the lies, excuse me, all the lies have been exposed. The lies were already exposed. Anyone who bothered to actually stop and read any of the government documentation during that time that was available in real time, right, would have seen right through what was happening. How many of you actually read the Pfizer OzPAR? How many doctors in this land actually read through the Pfizer OzPAR, Australian Public Assessment Report, issued in January 20, 2021, right, concurrent with the release of the medical interventions that it actually covered? How many doctors read through that? And yet they were telling people to do something that document, which was issued by the TGA, which had to be issued officially by the TGA in order to release a new biological entity into Australia, that's what they call it, right, under the Black Triangle program, which meant it was an experimental, it was still an experimental biological entity, right? All that's in the OzPAR. You can go and search the Black Triangle, what that means too, right? And what that represents. I read that by March. I got hold of that, downloaded it from the government website, right, and read that document by March of 2021. And the information in that document told me that everything that was coming across the news media and from the government and the mandates that they were trying to use to enforce that on the people of the Commonwealth of Australia was wrong. And I believe a lot of you came to the same conclusion by yourselves in your own hearts, from your own research. So where are you? Where are my beautiful brothers and sisters? And why is this still going on? Violence and hatred is not the answer, but we came here in a spirit of peace and love, and we still stand in that same spirit of peace and love, in peaceful non-compliance. We do not consent, we will not comply. No contract, no consent. The only power that the mandates had over you was because you consented to them. It's basic unified commercial code contract law. That is the system upon which all of this corporate government turns. The information was there. In a contract, you have to tell people what the terms of that contract are, both positive and negative. The news media and the government was giving you a positive spiel, but the actual written government documentation showed the negative side of it as well. How many of you read the contract before you consented? I did, and I said, no, I do not consent. My wife did, and she said, no, I do not consent. And we came and stood. We came as Christian people to stand with the people of the Commonwealth of Australia, our brothers and sisters in this nation. And I was overjoyed to see so many of you here, so many beautiful Aussies that still, it was like I was back in the 80s, man, amongst a whole group of friends that I didn't even know before those days. I talked to so many people about real things, not about your job, not about how big a house you got and your house down the coast and the holiday you went on, not about the latest dress you bought or the latest bit of technology you've acquired. I talked to those people about the real things of life, their lives. How many people were broken already by that time? How many people were confused, didn't know the way forward, but they came because they knew what they were being forced into was not right. And we came en masse. And our one mistake was that we did not stay and hold the line.
You fucking here.
Right, peaceful non-compliance only works if you have enough bodies to show the corporation that the people of the Commonwealth of Australia are serious, and if you have enough people who are not working in the system, making money for the system every day, but standing in front of the corporate HQ saying, no, we're not going back to this system until something changes. Come out and treat with us. The people of this land have the final say in the Commonwealth Constitution. I've said it before, and it's there. Right? How is the Constitution set up to protect you in a political way? It's set up with divisions of power. Right? You've got 3 primary divisions of power, and each one is supposed to act as a check and a balance against the other. You've got the legislature, you've got the executive, and you've got the judiciary. But there's a 4th division of power that no commentator, even though they allude to it, will spell out plainly, and that is the 4th division of power is the people of the Commonwealth of Australia. You say, where do you get that from? The last clause of our Constitution, that nothing, no word can be altered, added or taken away from the Constitution without a majority referendum of the people of Australia. So if you want to change the way Australia is governed, you can't do it without the consent of the people.
What are you doing about it?
We either hold to what is written, or we have a referendum where the majority of Australians agree that what is written should be changed. So where does the power lie? With us. That's why Corey said, and my brother here said, we are the problem. We let them do it. Right? Because we gave our consent. And those of you who came and stood and then were scattered, disillusioned, became bitter or cynical because of all of the division and all of the false prophets that showed, that's the corporate HQ. Right? The Prime Minister, according to the way they run this country, has more power than the executive in that building across the lake. The executive at the moment does what the Prime Minister tells them to do. So where should we be and who should we be talking to? And where should the pressure be applied? And if you won't come out and apply that pressure personally, then this country is going to descend into absolute hell. And those of you who aren't saved, you're getting a little foretaste of what your eternity will be like. I don't want to see anyone in that situation, not here and not in eternity. That's why I stood. My wife and I lost everything. We lost everything to stand here, but we were willing to pay that price. Why? Because we believed in what was true, and that what was true is worth standing up for, even if it costs you your life.
Yes.
That's how you retain your integrity. I'm not a very good Christian. I'm not a very good example of a man, right? But I still have, I might have lost everything in the physical realm in this world, everything that everyone is trying to hang on to, but I kept my integrity and I kept my personal honour. And I know I didn't do the best, but I did what I could. And everyone who came and stood with us did the same. We did what we could. And if we'd have just held our ground, we'd have seen more results, real results. Because that's how a corporation operates. It's consumer law, man. How do you vote against a product? What do you do against a product or a company that you don't like? You boycott it. You refuse to engage with it. You don't buy it. You don't countenance it. You don't consent to it. Right? It's as simple as that. And that is all these people understand. I can talk constitutional law here and it will make no difference. But if 200,000 of us stood in front of Parliament House for 2 weeks in a lawful way, in a lawful place, which is the Federation Mall, we proved that it is lawful for us to be there 24/7 and protest. Right? Hold that ground for 2 weeks. Hold it for a month with over 100,000 people and see what happens. Right? You'll get one of two results. Either they will call in the Australian military to inflict harm and violence upon the Australian people, which they should not be doing, or they will have to come out and treat with us and start listening to what the people have to say. Because we're not interested in politics. We're interested in living a peaceful life and looking after our children and preserving this great nation so that there's something for the future. We're not interested in being radicals or causing problems. We want this country to be a safe place, if nothing else, than for our children. And it is not safe for children today. How many children, I go out into my street where I live at the moment and I throw the ball for Freya. And I remember when I was a child, there were heaps of children out in the street running around playing. I'm an adult, I'm out there throwing the ball, I'm by myself. Where are all the children? Where is their joy? Where is their enjoyment of life? Why aren't they there? Because it's not safe. Why is it not safe? Because these people are actually promoting an agenda, an international agenda, that is not in the interest of the people of the Commonwealth of Australia. It serves the interest of a very select group of very powerful people at the top of the food chain. It has nothing to do with Australian politics. It has to do with a globalist mindset and a globalist philosophy that a very few, very rich, very influential, very powerful people have tried to force upon the rest of the world for their own benefit and the benefit of their own systems and religious beliefs. And those beliefs are not Christian beliefs. They do not have mankind's best interest at heart. They are selfish and demonic in their beliefs. And if you don't doubt me, delve into what these people are really into. I'll give you an example. Who do you think are the key spiritual advisors at the United Nations who have a base right there in the UN building and are constantly liaising with the United Nations members? Who do you think that is? Is it evangelical Bible-believing Christians? No. Is it Roman Catholics? No. Is it the Vatican? No. Is it Islamics? No. Is it Jews? Lucis Trust. They have an office right there and a meditation and counselling area right there in the UN building, and on their website page they say that they are the spiritual counsellors. They are there to provide spiritual counsel and direction to the United Nations people. Right there.
What are you doing about it?
Well said, brother.